What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Raudeza Plays. I'm Raudeza, and I did not realize that Halo Guardians would be so prophetic.
I see my time is up. Good luck to you, everyone, and goodbye.
I think truer words have never been spoken as it relates to PSN's decision to come to all digital media. I mean, it's basically just good luck to us, and then goodbye to this very crucial point in history in terms of gaming, and this is one of the reasons that I wanted to make this video. So there's a reason that I'm playing this game, and one of the reasons that I wanted to kind of do footage of this is I actually never played Halo Guardians 5, and this gets to my central thesis here. So if you follow PSN or Sony or PlayStation's logic, if you missed out on a game that is no longer available, meaning that there's no longer physical copies of it, you'll have to technically go on the PSN website and then actually pay full price for a game that in this case is 10 years old, which is completely absurd. I actually went to Amazon, I looked this up. The game was about, I would say, like $9, and then there's $3 for the shipping. So I actually paid $12 for this game in the secondary market, and that's the way that it should be. Again, this game came out in 2015. For whatever reason, I actually missed out on this game, and I was able to buy it on Amazon for a completely reduced price. That's the way that free markets should work. Sony wants to eliminate all of that. Now you might be asking yourself, why is Sony making this move? And it's for no other reason than corporate greed and to appeal to their shareholders. They know that if there is no middleman, if there's no physical copy that you have to ship out, in terms of the logistics, that they can keep all the revenue. And then on top of that, if you wanted to buy this game like I did and missed out, of course this being Xbox, but let's say it was on the Sony PlayStation, then I would have to pay full retail price. Essentially, they want you to not own anything anymore, and they want you to rent out their services or their video game libraries, which is incredibly monopolistic, incredibly anti-consumer, and it's just not the way that things should work. If you buy something, if you purchase something, that should be yours. You shouldn't have to be renting out or paying licensing fees to play a game that you've already bought. You've completed that transaction and is a part of your library. So this is just one of the things that I wanted to get into in this video. And of course, this is Xbox, so I'm actually doing the voiceover after I played the footage, because Xbox makes things notoriously difficult in order for you to kind of capture your footage and then do the voiceover. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to do that. Just so you understand that this is something that is not in real time like I normally stream, but I thought it was important to make this video, and I also wanted to play this game and then just give you some video capture of it and give my thoughts on what's currently going on in the gaming industry. I hope that PSN reverses this policy. We'll see what happens. There are several petitions, and from what I understand, there's lawsuits now coming out in order to combat these highly shady practices, so to speak. And you have to remember that this is the company that kind of raked Xbox when they were trying to do their whole DRM bullshit back in the day. Again, that very famous commercial of how to trade games on PSN was brilliant from a marketing standpoint. Again, you have shareholders, you have people that don't necessarily play video games that are trying to get in on investment opportunities, and these are the decisions that corporate is making in order to satisfy those shareholders, which is really a crime in my opinion. I've talked about this on the show before, and I know the jabronis are going to say, but Raudeza, physical media, nobody buys physical media, nobody wants to go to the stores anymore and buy these things, and it's more convenient to have a digital download. But what you don't understand is that, and again, I've been gaming forever. I've been gaming since I was in the arcade. I've talked about this on my channel before. We saw the rise, I'm Generation X. We saw the rise of the Nintendo Entertainment System, 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit, 64-bit, and everything in between, right? So the credentials are definitely there. But what you don't understand, it's not just about the modality. Again, I've talked about this before. It is about being able to own what you buy, and being able to preserve this physical media, preserve these games. If a service or an online service all of a sudden decides that they no longer want to have that part of their catalog, that's it. How would you other than owning the media, how would you play these games? And aside from that, just for the nostalgia factor, some of us do want to collect these games. Some of us have libraries, and I don't think it's unreasonable not to be able to purchase these things. Again, this is a cold corporate decision. It's not like these things, both having something physical and having digital, can coexist. There's not a reason that those two things can't coexist. So it's absolutely absurd. And I get it. You know, you guys coming from a different generation, everything is immediate. It's very easy for you guys. But for some of us, we remember those midnight launches and how special that was to be able to go at a midnight and you see the lines at Best Buy or at GameStop and being able to go in there and get those physical copies. It was something very magical about that, and I think that we're losing that, and everything is getting kind of sterile. And that's my personal opinion. You may not have wanted that experience, or it doesn't really matter to you, but it does matter to some of us. But aside from that, it's just the anti-consumer practices, the fear of monopolies. This is why we have antitrust laws, because right now, if every video game company follows suit, we are at the mercy of never having any price cuts, something notoriously that Nintendo does right now. So imagine if you want to play a game that in this case is like 10 years old, you'll have to pay full retail price because there's no competition. And there's no competition, it doesn't force innovation. This is economics 101. This is just, I'm a professor in a college of business, so I understand how this works, right? But aside from that, I think it's very important that you understand that this is just not about modality. This is about protecting every consumer's right to own their media, to own something that they've purchased and that they've completed a purchase. So we're also fighting for you guys, the ones that maybe never went into a GameStop and always got their games digitally. We're fighting for your consumer rights. And, right now, I think there is a mass exodus from PlayStation players that are probably going to go to PC because, we're not naive. We see that there is eventually going to be a time and a point that everything becomes digital. We get that. This was a little bit earlier than expected, and it's nothing more than corporate greed, as I mentioned before. So things like Steam, the PC gaming. What is to stop, PlayStation owners as a whole? Because obviously, there's another crisis happening, and it's the the storage or the gigabyte crisis right now that is really propagating these extra costs for companies. So the PS6, whenever the hell this thing comes out, whenever they announce it, it's probably going to be over $1,000, and they need to make or recoup money. So what is to stop somebody from, instead of going to PlayStation and just getting a really nice rig and then getting their games on Steam and some of these other online sources, because they are notoriously better at consumer relations in terms of refund policies and really addressing the needs of their consumers. I honestly think Sony is not really thinking long term, and this is going to come to bite them in the ass. Even if they don't reverse these policies, I think what's going to happen is they're going to realize that for what the cost that they were trying to save and trying to get that revenue, it's going to cost them in the long run. And hopefully, again, they reverse these policies, but we will never know. But even if it's a small minority with these petitions and these lawsuits, I think the lawsuits are going to be very effective. But we can always pay with our wallets. We can always make change with our wallets. It has happened before. And if we can come together as consumers and really protect our rights, I think they could reverse this policy. And I think that's what should happen. But I really want to hear your opinion on this. If you want to comment in the comments section. Maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe it's just an inevitable thing and we're just evolving into this all digital platform, and we're just being dinosaurs about this, and maybe we're just an anachronism for a different time, whatever you want to call it. Maybe we're just all wrong. I don't think we are, though. I think as consumers we still have the right to, on a very basic level, right, is if I go to your store and I buy something, the purchase is completed. I shouldn't have to be keeping on paying royalties or paying any other thing in order for me to play that or enjoy that game that I've already played. But those are just some basic things that I think should happen. I mean, these are not controversial things. Apparently they are, though. Alright guys, so on a very basic level, those are my thoughts on what's currently happening in the industry, especially with 5, 6, whatever you want to freaking call it right now. So those are my thoughts on it, and I wanted to include this in the video. But this is really about kind of highlighting not only that issue, but also Halo 5 Guardians, right? I finally got that name right. First of all, I want to say that this game looks absolutely outstanding. The game is like 10 years old. This is 2015. My nephew was born in 2015. This is an 11-year-old game, and I remember when I popped this up, right, and I played it, and it took forever to load. It was like an hour and something minutes to load. But when I saw this visually, I was like, holy crap, this does not seem like this game is 11 years old. As you can see, this game is absolutely stunning. I can't even imagine in 2015 how this looked like. Maybe it's being upscaled because I am playing this on an Xbox Series X. But nevertheless, this game just is absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. And I actually forgot how much I missed playing Halo. Yeah, just, the lore and everything. So that really struck me right there. Again, it's just amazing. Now, it's not in 4K. At least I don't think it is. It's running in 1080p and 60 FPS, but my god, it's not stuttering or anything. Now, if you guys remember from some of the live streams that I did with AC Mirage, one of the criticisms I had, it looked beautiful, but it had a lot of screen tearing, and I don't know if it was just simply not optimized for the Xbox Series X. I'm not sure what the deal was, but it was very jarring. It didn't take away from the experience, and I know eventually I will finish up that game. But it was very jarring, and this one runs buttery smooth. I don't see any screen tearing or any textures or anything like that. It's really cool, especially the particle effects, and just the lights and the shadows are really fantastic. Most notably, and some of the things that this is going to sound really weird to say, but most notably, I noticed how modern this game really is. There is a mechanism here that you can actually look down the sights with the rifles and stuff like that, so to speak. It's kind of an amalgamation of like looking straight down the iron sights and then having this kind of like, I want to say holographic iron sight, which I think works really well because it still feels like a Halo game and it doesn't feel like completely Call of Duty modern Call of Duty, so to speak. So I think that's really cool. The AI is really fantastic in this game. Some of these little buggers, I mean, they'll use some straight up awesome tactics in order to like flank you and stuff like that. The enemy designs are really cool. I think that that's something that they really refined in this game. And it's also a departure from the traditional Halo, so you're not just playing as Master Chief, although that's part of it. You're also playing with another Spartan unit from Locke. I think it's Blue Team or something like that, which is really cool. And Nathan Fillion, I mean, the guy, you just gotta love the guy, right? I like to hear his voice. It's really funny. So I think that was a perfect kind of like amalgamation of the two stories, which is really nice. So there's two narratives here. Obviously, Locke is hunting down Master Chief because he's kind of gone rogue. No spoilers, of course. This is like an 11-year-old game, so I won't get too into it in case you haven't played this like me. We didn't have the opportunity to play this, but he is hunting down Master Chief and his squad of Spartans because they've gone rogue. Obviously, at the end of Halo 4, there was this whole issue with Cortana and the rampancy. So he is trying to find Cortana, so that's the main focus of the story. And of course, this other Spartan unit is hunting down Master Chief because he has gone rogue, and I think that's a nice blend of the stories. I don't know why this game got a lot of shit for not being, I don't know, epic enough or not being Halo enough. I mean, it certainly is, you know what I mean? I don't know, who the hell knows what was going on 10 years ago in the minds of gamers, but so far, based on what I've seen, not only are the cutscenes fantastic, but it's a pretty epic story so far as well, with these two Spartan units kind of like going at each other because of whatever, the politics involved in what's going on with Cortana. So I think that's actually pretty cool. I don't, for the life of me, I can't understand why this game got so much shit. So that's one of the kind of moments that I was talking about, how epic these cutscenes are. And even in the tranquil moments, like they're just opening up the scene and looking at one of the flagships from the UNSC, which is really cool. There was always this thing, there's always debate about Halsey, and her character model looks really awesome here. But there's always this thing that I had with Halsey, this uncomfortable thing that, you know, she was basically committing war crimes and taking little kids and then training them as the Spartan program. I don't know, do the ends justify the means? Because if she hadn't done what she done, or what she did, so to speak, the human race might be wiped out when the Covenant invaded. I've always been fascinated by Halo Reach and that story. I think that was one of the most awesome games in the series, along with ODST. And ODST really feels like a horror game, just because of the lighting and the situation. And you're not actually a Spartan; you're just part of this, crack unit of the drop troopers or whatever, which is really cool. I really love that that scene in or playing around in that kind of sandbox in New Mombasa was fascinating. This is one of the cool aspects of this game. Just the cutscenes are really cool, and the designs are really refined here. I gotta say, this game was not easy for me. Again, I hadn't played a Halo game in a very long time. And it's cool, and this is what I was talking about, intercut or interlaced between the campaigns of Locke and what you're doing with the other Spartan unit. You actually get to play as Master Chief really quick. And this game, I mean, balls to the wall. It is not an easy game, and I was playing on normal, and it still kicked my ass a couple of times, particularly on this level, which was really, really challenging and really, really difficult with the bosses and whatnot. Like I said, the AI here is done very well, and they'll kind of sidestep, use tactical maneuvers to get you where you need to go, and or to get you in a point where you're not very comfortable as a unit. The cool thing too is that since you're part of a unit, you can call on your fellow Spartans to actually come to your aid if you ever like fall down or anything like that, meaning that your armor locks up, and you can move them to tactical positions as well, which I think was pretty cool and something that I really hadn't seen in a Halo game before. I don't know about the multiplayer. I haven't played the multiplayer yet. I don't even know if there are lobbies for that, but you know what, I'm kind of multiplayered out. I have noticed, and I actually have Battlefield 6 sitting on my desk right now. I'm kind of multiplayered out, and I'm kind of open world out. I don't know if you guys feel the same, but I noticed that whenever I get into multiplayer, I get addicted to it, and then I spend so much time playing multiplayer that I don't invest in these single player games, which I'm trying to avoid right now. That's just me personally. I'm just going through a moment where I kind of want to go back to those games that I never got to play, right? For whatever reason, and I want a single player experience. If it's fatigue, maybe I can call it that, I don't know, but it is what it is. This is just what I'm into right now. I think video games are a relationship with people, and sometimes you want to invest in those video games because you want to have those experiences that are a little bit more unique, but nevertheless, I mean, I'm gonna make videos on it, make content on it, and just talk about my experiences. Now, this world is absolutely stunning. It's so funny, okay? Because if you played the new Metroid Prime 4 game, it opens up on this lush world, and the graphics here look 10 times better than on the Metroid 4 game. Now, granted, that is on a Switch 2. That's the version that I played it. But even still, this 11-year-old game kicks that game in the ass in terms of the overall graphics. And don't get me wrong, that game is beautiful, but my god, just it really goes to the art direction and what the designers of this game did to make this game look so beautiful. I mean, this world is really lush. I always feel bad for these grunts. I hate killing grunts. I feel so bad for them. They're almost like indentured soldiers, so to speak. They don't really want to be part of this, and they're always screaming out in terror whenever they see Master Chief. I think they call him the Demon, which is really, really shitty. I hate taking out grunts. Of all of the enemies in Halo, these are the ones that I really feel bad for. And sometimes they get up close and personal. It's one thing when you shoot them from a distance, or just throw a grenade to put them out of their misery. It's quite another thing when you get up really close to them and just, hit them with the butt of your rifle. I always feel so guilty doing that. I'm really excited about Halo Evolved or Combat. What is it? Halo in Advanced or Enhanced Evolved? I can't remember. It's a remake of the original Halo. I'm really excited about that. For some reason, I never got into Halo Infinite. It's not something that is something that I really want to play right now. Like I said, I'm kind of open world out, so I might not do that. Maybe eventually in the future I'll play it, but right now I'm just not really into that. For whatever reason, it's just not something that I want to do. Now, there was another franchise that I actually didn't get to play when they initially launched, and I mean, I've got to play the franchise. I played the originals. I know that there's a remake or reload of Gears of War, which is ironically on the PS5, and it's still a physical disc, so I'm going to definitely be picking that up. But I never actually got to play Gears of War 4 or Gears of War 5, and while I was ordering this one, I actually ordered those two games through Amazon, and the total amount that I had to pay for both games was like about 15 bucks. So think about that for a minute, and it goes back to the topic that I had started at the start of this video, is for both games I paid what, about $7.50 for each plus the shipping. So at cost, I mean, it was really economic. But again, if you go back to the logic, if they're only online, if they're only digital, I'm at the mercy of what they will charge full price for me to play those games. I'm so excited about that, and as soon as I'm done with this title, I'm definitely going to start making videos on Gears 4 and Gears 5, just because, you know, I never got to play those games, and I think they're outstanding, and from what I understand, they too are departures from the original narrative and story of maybe Marcus Phoenix. And like I said, I'm old school, so I played the Gears that came out on the 360, for God's sakes. And very exciting. Those launch titles were very exciting. And I still have them in my library. But nevertheless, I'm going to start, you know, in my desperation to preserve this media, I'm going to start going to Amazon, and I'm going to start picking up some of those titles that are now incredibly discounted, because I know that at some point, again, basic supply and demand. This is economics 101, right? As digital becomes more prevalent, especially if they don't reverse these policies by PSN and or PlayStation, and if Xbox follows suit with this nonsense, that secondary market is going to start to get more and more expensive, because it's just the law of scarcity. As people kind of freak out that these games are going to be lost forever, or, you know, go into the digital void whenever they don't want them in their catalog, they're going to be discontinued. That secondary market is going to become fervent, right? And those prices are going to go up. So I'm doing this right now, and anything that I see that is like cheap, let's say 10 bucks or something like that, I'm definitely going to pick it up to have it in my library and just preserve it, right? So if you want it, now's the perfect time to do it. Just kind of reading the terrain and understanding that these games are going to get harder and harder to find. Do you remember a perfect example of this is when I think it was the collector's edition, when they had Metroid Prime, or the entire Prime series was originally on the, I think what gaming console? I can't remember it right now. It was on the Nintendo, I think it was on the Wii U or something like that. All of a sudden, everybody wanted to own that collection, right? And so I would go on eBay, and the collection was something ridiculous, like $150, right? When it first came out, it was like 49 bucks or something like that. So this is just basically the law of scarcity, which I anticipate is going to happen. So if you want to have these games in your library, now is the time to buy these things. It's just the way that it is. And even if you know, they do reverse their policies, I think this is a lesson for all of us to preserve this media. Now, this part of this game I actually fucked up on so many times. I kept getting housed, so even though it doesn't show it in the footage because it's edited out, I got the crap kicked out of me so much just trying to advance on this actual position, because it's got like turrets and whatnot, like, and then the AI was just advancing on me. It was really incredible. I had to do this a couple of times. Now, granted, you can get revived by your squad mates, but nevertheless, you know, it is what it is. It's one of the cool things that I found entertaining about this game. Hard as shit, I'm not going to lie, but I think it was pretty cool nonetheless. Going back to Gears of War, like I said, I'm going to definitely record the footage of that and just post it up and post my thoughts on the game, just because I want that to be part of my channel and part of the video record of these games if they ever go away. I know that I have a record of playing and enjoying these games, which is a sad commentary on where the gaming industry is right now. It really sucks that we have to resort to these measures, and then just kind of start panic buying all these games because we want to make sure that they're around for future generations, and just to like remember when. I'm trying not to be hyperbolic here, but this is just where the industry's going, and if it's gonna go that way, I don't want it to ever come to a point where we can't preserve this media. So having said that, it is what it is, guys, and it's an unfortunate thing. So just try to preserve your games as much as possible. Especially for the old schoolers like us, for Generation Xers who saw everything come, and we looked at all the changes in the video game industry and whatnot. So try to collect as much as possible. This argument that they say that, oh no, like digital media, nobody wants it. So this is the conundrum. This is the paradox, right? So on one hand, Sony is telling us, yeah, nobody, due to trends and, that very bullshit statement that they made, due to the trends, we're switching to all digital media, except what contradicts that narrative is the fact that for those who bought the digital-only version of the PS5, there's an all-time demand and a backlog and a wait for the physical, the disc drive, the adapter. So, you're going to have to square that. One thing contradicts the other thing, and I don't think that they're obviously not telling us the truth. And I think they're skewing their numbers a lot in order to support this narrative of what they want to do in terms of just trying to garner as much revenue from us as possible. So I'm going to get back to the game because I don't want this to be a rally about what's going on in the industry with this nonsense. So one of the things that really struck me about this game is the open vistas, the verticality, even though you're not physically going to those locations in the mountains and stuff like that. But when you just take a moment, and I did this a lot while I was playing, I took a moment just to look at the landscaping and the sense of scale and grandeur, and just looking at the vistas was quite remarkable to me. I had to remind myself, hey, Raudeza, this is an 11-year-old game. I know that I keep saying that, but it really is that jaw-dropping and stunning. The lighting here, there's a point where we get to, and we're going to come up to it right now, which is really cool. First of all, the lighting when you go into caves. Earlier, I lost some footage on this, but I went into like this kind of, it was like an industrial factory, and just the lighting in terms of, the low lighting, you couldn't really see peripherally as far as you could, as you wanted to. And they had to put the headset lighting on, which was really cool, but that was terrifying. That was one of those things that I was like, man, this feels like a survival horror game, which was really cool. I really like the effects here with this lighted bridge, and believe it or not, I was like pissing myself when I tried to cross it. I thought I was gonna fall until I finally got the balls to just cross this threshold. Again, here we have a good example of these wonderful, wonderful cutscenes, and I have to say, there's a point in this when you get very emotional. It was years after Halo 4 that I had not, heard Cortana, right? And she was, obviously the AI that is always assisting, Spartan 117, if you want to call it that. This was really messed up. I don't know what happened here. I'm sure they're going to explain it later on in the game, but you just have these bodies like lying around. They're obviously Covenant soldiers or something like that. They got housed. I'm not exactly sure what happened at the time that I was playing this. I was like, what the freak happened here? But it was pretty funny. I was just looking around, and I'm like, wow. The juxtaposition between whatever the hell firefight happened there, whatever genocidal thing happened with the carcasses of these Covenant soldiers, and then it opens up into this beautiful vista, which was really beautiful. I'm being redundant now, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's just stunning to look at. The Spartan armor too, it's just really awesome. The sniper, it's really cool. I wish they would make 1/6 scale figures of this. I really would. Because I do have the 1/6 scale figure of, and I think it's made by 3-0, of Emil. I wanted to get Carter, but that one is very scarce right now. It's ridiculously priced right now. And of course the Master Chief from 3-0. I mean, that's beyond a Holy Grail piece. I don't even think you can find that anymore. And if you do, I mean, it's going for like $2,000, which is ridiculous. Hopefully one day they will make a reissue of that. I'll jump all over that and review it on my main channel, which is really cool. This freaking guy was a pain in the ass. You actually fight this guy twice with John Locke's squad of Spartans, which that freaking fight was a pain in the ass. And then you fight him again with Master Chief. Supposedly, this guy is like the leader, or I don't know if he's the main protagonist, but he's protecting Cortana or something like that, which was a little bit weird to me, because if he's protecting Cortana, why the hell is he attacking us when, Master Chief is just trying to get to Cortana. He's just trying to find her. So I thought that was a little bit weird, that he gave us so much shit, and then he's giving us a lecture. Now, this part of this was incredibly frustrating, and again, it's not in the game footage, but I got the shit kicked out of me so many times. Again, I just had to take a look at how beautiful this all looks. Just the flora and the fauna, the lighting, the juxtaposition between like the caves and then the actual the flora and the fauna, and even the little idiosyncrasies. Just looking at the particle effects and the way the rain is cascading there, or the waterfall is cascading. This is just absolutely stunning. And I went back to my thing. I'm like, I just can't believe how old this game is, which is really cool. And this was kind of a pain in the ass. Those little things that are flying there, those little Haley things. So those enemies like actually provide an extra layer of I think like force field protection for the soldiers, which is a pain in the ass. So you're actually fighting two things. You're trying to knock out these damn things so that they can take the shields off, so that you can engage with these enemies. The snipers here were ridiculous, and of course they got the high ground, and you have the low ground. So tactically, this was a bit of a pain in the ass. You know what? I really like the weapons here. They're weighty and heavy, and I like the sound of them. I think one of my criticisms, and this was really funny, of the original Halo, I really liked the assault rifle, but I didn't think it had enough kick in the original game. They've kind of like resolved that issue. It feels a lot more weighty and punchy and a lot more effective, and whenever I can, I try to use that the Master Chief's assault rifle, because I really like not only the design of it, it's got that cool little counter, but it's definitely a much more visceral experience now. I wonder what this game, I think that the new Halo game, or the one that they remade, is going to be ported to the PS5. I'm not sure if that's still going to happen because of all this nonsense, but I wonder what this game is going to feel like viscerally when you're playing with the DualSense shock, or DualSense controller of the PS5. That's going to be a pretty unique experience. I'm eager to play or feel what that's gonna feel like what that's gonna feel like. Jesus, I'm totally screwing this up. I'm eager to see what that's gonna feel like on the PS5 for Gears, and I can't wait till the new Gears of War comes out. So, it's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? It's like a catch-22. While I'm excited for all these new titles, I'm really have some mixed feelings about where this industry is going. It's a shame, because I'd like to own physical copies of all those games, and there's a possibility that won't happen. Look, guys, I get it. There are real problems out there in the world, particularly with what's going on in Gaza and stuff like that right now. And I don't want to get too much into that, but it's the genocide. These are all first world problems, so I don't have my head up my ass, okay? But nevertheless, given the context that it is in, this is a very pivotal moment, and I think a paradigm shift in this medium, in the gaming industry. And hopefully, I mean, you can't really trust gaming companies to do the right thing, but hopefully we as consumers will speak, and we will reset this moral compass, even if we have to reset it for them, right? And it is what it is. This is beautiful, by the way. I'm trying not to. So this is the part that I don't know, died so many times, and it's funny, Master Chief go flying. If you remember from the original Halo game, when you played, when you had the LAN parties and stuff like that, and you would just fight with your friends, you go like flying halfway across the screen at times, just because the explosions and whatnot. But this guy was a son of a bitch, and the thing is that he had these elites that were just constantly guarding him. The other thing too is that his armor is really strong, so the only way that you can combat him is like going around him, right? As you can see here, I mean, I'm trying to, you know, encircle this guy as much as possible, but it makes it nearly impossible because you have that knight that's just like bombarding you with shit. So this was not an easy fight. And then of course, it's a combination of trying to get, you know, attack the knight, attack that main, whatever the hell, and then reviving your soldiers like I was doing now. I had to do that quite often. So there's a lot of resource management, there's a lot of squad management in this fight, and that seems like it's a theme throughout the whole game. And finally, when I take off this son of a bitch, this knight, it made it a little bit easier for me to like continue on and fight this battle. But this one was a tough one. I'm not gonna lie. I got my ass kicked so many times, but it doesn't matter because we've played Elden Ring, and I fought Melina, the Blade of Mikola, or Melina? I forgot her name, but you know, she's the Blade of Mikola. And if you can manage to beat that freaking chick, then you can manage any other foe imaginable in video game. And I know many of you are Elden Ring fans or FromSoft fans, and I can tell you, man, I've seen the videos of people rage quitting of fighting Melina. God, why can't I pronounce it? Melina, whatever. You know what I'm talking about? The Blade of Mikola, right? The chick that's got the rot, whatever. I know who I'm talking about. Just can't think of it right now. But listen, with that fight, I learned patience, persistence, perseverance, adaptability, overcoming, because again, Elden Ring was definitely about not the things that you were fighting against yourself, against patience and learning tactics and being able to overcome those challenges. So if I can beat that chick, I could beat anything in Halo. So whatever, it just took me a couple tries. Plus, I was trying to get it used to the differences between the controller for the PS5 and then of course the Xbox controller, which it seems to me like they're completely inverted. And oh my god, you should see how freaking ridiculous I am. I'm like a toddler when I have to switch to the Wii controller that I bought, the third party. I'm like an idiot with that because I'm still not used to those controls. So everything has a standard, right? And some of these things you can't even remap, which is kind of a pain in the ass. So I'm going to be the first to admit that when I heard Cortana's voice for the first time in like several years, even if it might not be the same actress, I got emotional because I remember all those campaigns that I had with her going through, you know, all the Halo games and always having Cortana on my side. So yeah, it was not only nostalgic, but very emotional when I heard her voice for the first time, especially when she calls him John. I was like, wow, that's pretty freaking incredible, right? And this is why this is so important. You know, like imagine if this was digital only and the copies of this game did not exist in physical form, or they were too expensive to buy. I would miss out on this experience, and this is the whole point of this discussion in the video. Now, granted, in the future, it's going to just be me commentating on the gameplay, but I thought this was important to talk about. This is one of those cool aspects of why we're able to make these videos and talk about some of the things that if we didn't have these platforms, if we didn't have these voices, maybe we wouldn't be able to change some of the things, or at least comment on some of the bullshit that's happening in the industry right now. So this has been really cool. And you know what, I think I like this forum better a little bit, of playing the games and then just kind of recollecting my thoughts afterwards. I mean, there's definitely a benefit to doing these live streams, but right now I don't know, I kind of like this format, and I think I might do this. Alright guys, so this has been another episode of Raudeza Plays Halo 5 Guardians Part 1. I will definitely continue on to finish the rest of this game, so thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it.